Something terrifying is happening under the ocean. Deep sea creatures, the ones that live miles below the surface, are suddenly rising up and dying. Killer whales are beaching themselves. Strange alien-looking fish are washing up on shores. People are scared. Scientists are confused. And ancient myths are starting to look real. Is this just climate change? Or is something massive, something biblical on its way? The signs are all there. And what you are about to hear is more than just a warning. It's a pattern, one that started centuries ago. A shipwreck and a skeleton tell us how it all began. The year was 1495. King Hans of Denmark was sailing for pleasure when the ocean turned violent. A massive undersea quake hit. His ship didn't stand a chance. It sank within minutes, lost to the dark waters forever. But that wasn't the strange part. In 1970, when researchers found the wreck, they discovered something else. Next to the ancient timber lay the remains of a strange fish. It wasn't just any fish, it looked prehistoric. Massive eyes, a long, bony body. It had no place being near the surface, but it was there. And this wasn't the last time it would appear. The Greenland fishermen saw the same monster. Then disaster struck. 50 years later, fishermen near Greenland spotted that same strange fish again. It was swimming near the bottom close to shore. They had never seen anything like it. Soon after, their entire coastal town was wiped out by another underwater quake. The signs were there. No one listened. And the sea took what it wanted. This fish, this oarfish, became a legend. Locals whispered about it. Some feared it was a warning from the deep. Others called it Leviathan. But legends don't stop disasters. They just explain them after they happen. Japan saw 20 of these fish, and then came the tsunami. In 2011, Japanese fishermen caught nearly 20 of these strange fish. They returned most to the water. One died on shore. Weeks later, a massive 9.1 magnitude earthquake struck Japan, followed by a deadly tsunami. Nearly 18,000 people were lost. The oarfish had returned just before disaster struck again. These deep sea creatures live as far as 16,000 feet below. They should never be near humans. And yet they are coming up dying in broad daylight, trying to escape something we can't see. Then, in Australia, 2,025 whales refused to go back into the water. 150 killer whales were found dying on an Australian beach. These apex predators are feared by sharks. Yet here, they were helpless, struggling, refusing to return to the ocean. Rescue teams tried to guide them back, but they resisted, almost as if they were afraid of what was waiting in the deep. 90 whales died. These were not sick animals. Something had terrified them into choosing death over returning to their home. And it wasn't just the whales. Same thing happens in the Russian. The deep sea's ugliest monsters are coming to the surface. In early 2025, Russian fishermen reported a terrifying discovery. A fish known as the smooth lampfish was found floating near the surface. It's usually seen 2 kilometers deep. Locals call it the Dark Lord. But the real shock came from the United States. A black sea devil, a fish with a glowing bulb on its head, was found dead on the California coast. This deep sea predator lives nearly 5 kilometers underwater. No one in human history had seen one on land until now. These aren't just random events, they're signals. 1 month later, a video from California went viral. Another ghost ship washed ashore, and what was beside it? Another oarfish, still alive, but barely. This fish had been feared for centuries. Every time it appeared, destruction followed. In 2010, it showed up near Chile and Japan. Soon after, both countries suffered severe underwater quakes. In 2011, a Japanese fisherman caught 20. Then the Great Tsunami hit. Now, in 2025, it's appearing again. And this time, the signs are even stronger. Even the Bible spoke of a beast like this, Leviathan. There's a creature mentioned in the Bible, a sea monster, giant, powerful, unstoppable. It's called Leviathan. When people saw satellite images of the Pacific, they noticed something strange, a long sea structure stretching toward land. Some said it was just ocean topography. Others believed it was Leviathan's path. Scientists called it a natural formation, a ridge on the sea floor. But what scared people the most wasn't the shape, it was the timing. Every time this structure became visible, deep-sea creatures started fleeing. And then the earthquakes followed. And the US Navy saw something so big, but they stayed silent. American Navy patrols were scanning the waters near Mexico when they spotted something massive. A 30-meter-long oarfish swimming close to the surface. They captured it. But weeks later, a 7.1 earthquake hit Mexico. The same pattern, the same creature, the same destruction. These aren't myths anymore, they're clues. And they're happening more often. And much more interesting fact is someone checked Google Earth, and the pattern is clear. The undersea structure did not look random. It was a direct line. It pointed toward land. It matched locations where deep-sea creatures were surfacing, and where earthquakes had occurred. Is it just nature? Or are these animals trying to tell us something? Scientists explored the area. They found it was a real structure, what's called an underwater topographic feature, a naturally formed trench. But some experts noticed how closely it resembled the Mariana Trench, the deepest part of the ocean, a place we've barely explored. What else is hiding down there? It's not a monster, it's our own destruction waking them up. Since World War II, sonar oil drilling and rising sea temperatures have disturbed the deep ocean more than ever. Creatures that stayed hidden for thousands of years are now confused, sick, and dying. There's something called the deep scattering layer. Millions of animals move between the deep and surface every night. But lately that layer is changing. Why? Because the ocean is heating up on top and cooling at the bottom. The two water layers don't mix anymore. That means less oxygen for the creatures below. They come up, gasping, and die. The real Leviathan isn't in the ocean. It's on land. Every story, every death, every beaching, it's all connected. And the biggest monster in the ocean is climate change. That oarfish, it's not cursed. It's not Leviathan. It's a victim. The fish has been spotted over 20 times in Mexico since 1996. Yes, earthquakes followed, but not because of the fish. It was the Earth reacting to what we've done. We've already destroyed hundreds of species, and now deep-sea creatures are next. And once they're gone, we're next. The deep sea isn't just a mystery, it's a warning system. And right now that system is screaming. Creatures that never wanted to see us are rising up and dying, not because of magic, prats, but because of our actions. Leviathan isn't coming. Leviathan is already here, and we created it. If you care about the truth, if you care about this planet, don't ignore the signs. Share this video, talk about it, wake others up, like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon, and tell the world before it's too late.